YouTubers, this is your boy Amari Points here, bringing you the latest movie review. Today I'm doing my newest movie review on the latest Netflix original movie, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Fowl. And yes, this movie is about Wallace and Gromit. Yeah, we've known them ever since we were kids. And yes, this movie is a stop motion movie as well, as most of you already know. But this movie is about Wallace coming up with a new invention to help Gromit with his garden, as most of you seen in the trailers. But little do they know, a slight familiar foe comes back for vengeance. Feathers McGraw. We know that little penguin from the Wrong Trousers is out for vengeance against Wallace and Gromit, and he uses Gnomebot to get vengeance on them. And Gnomebot makes a bunch of other robots, as most of you seen in the trailer as well, to make things worse for Wallace and Gromit. And I think this gives a good message to people to not depend on tech so much, because you really shouldn't depend on it so heavily. And I agree with that. You shouldn't. But all in all, this movie was funny, had good jokes. Some of the stuff really didn't land in this movie, but it was still a good movie, of course. I loved it. Let's start off with the positives and negatives. First off are the positives. Seeing Wallace and Gromit come back. I grew up with Wallace and Gromit for almost 31 years. Or practically, 31 years. For 31 years. And yes, it's good seeing stop motion come back and seeing them come back with some wacky adventure as well. And everything that happened in this movie was legit funny. Wallace and Gromit were still Wallace and Gromit, of course. I loved them. I loved them even more after seeing them in this new movie. Another positive is the great message that it delivers. As I said before, never depend on tech too much, because these days people be dependent on technology, and as people will see in the movie, Wallace is really depending on technology a lot, and we see him depend on tech in past short films and movies. But this time, we really do get a good message out of this movie to not depend on tech too much, because it is not going to help us in our daily lives. That was the good key message, and it delivered on it so well too, which I respect so much for them making this message. Kudos to this movie for delivering on that message. And also, another positive is seeing Feathers McGraw come back. He is out for vengeance. You can tell he really is, because after seeing him in the Wrong Trousers, he's really out to get Wallace and Gromit really bad, because they practically ruined his life, and they put him in jail, of course. And what I can say about this is that he is not the type of penguin to be messed with, guys. He is super smart, real smart. Yes, and another positive about this movie is that it's a Wallace and Gromit movie. If you grew up with Wallace and Gromit like I did, you're gonna love it. You're for sure gonna love it. It is hands down funny. It delivered on good jokes and everything. And that's it for my positives and negatives, guys. That's it for my positives, guys. Sorry. That's it for my positives, guys. On to my negative. The one negative I have is the police chief. He really, honestly, is just jumping to conclusions in this movie. As most of you have seen in the trailer, he just doesn't really care for his job. He's more focused on getting a medal and all that, and he's just not really a good police chief. I wish they could have made him better by making him more concerned about who did the crime instead of assuming somebody, assuming like someone else did it. I can't spoil it for you, but the police chief was the only problem I had. Was the only problem I had in this movie. That was it. The rest of the movie itself was funny. That's it for my positives and negatives, guys. For real this time. On to my rant. Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Foul is for sure a movie that you will want to see, especially if you're a Wallace and Gromit fan. For sure, watch this on Netflix, and you'll have a fun time with it. You are gonna have a good laugh. You're gonna enjoy yourself. I sure as heck did, because it was one of those movies that I think will deliver a good message to everybody. Don't depend on technology too much. As I said before, it delivered on that message to not depend on tech, because it's not going to help you with your daily lives or anything else. We really need to just depend on ourselves manually, because that's really important. But as for the rest of the movie, it delivered on the good jokes. There was a lot of humor in there, especially with Noombot. He was super funny. And Gromit, as always, he is still Gromit. He honestly just, it seems like he's just a different type of dog. Even though he doesn't speak, we all know that. He's still loyal to Wallace, his master. And he tries to warn him about what is going on. But Wallace, being Wallace, of course, he doesn't listen, but he still is a good pooch. He is a good pooch. The movie itself is just hands-on, delivering so many good moments. We see a special cameo in this movie that I cannot spoil for you, because when you see the cameo, you will know what I mean. I can say that much. You will know for sure what I mean when you spot this cameo, because I was surprised. I was real surprised by the cameo. But as for the rest of the movie, it was funny. I enjoyed it. You'll have a good laugh with it. You'll have a good laugh with it, and I sure as heck did. I know I said that already, but it's true. I did have a fun time with this movie and the message it delivered. You are for sure going to want to check this movie out on Netflix and have a fun time with it as well. Even though the only problem I had was the police officer. That was the only problem I had. But it was, again, the rest of the movie itself was funny. You're for sure going to want to watch this on Netflix. And again, enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. Have a fun time. I know sorry if I'm scratching my nose a lot. I know I did. And I honestly can't wait to see what type of crazy adventures Wallace and Gromit have planned after this. It looks like it looks like a really fun movie for you all to enjoy. I know I say that already. I apologize. But again, check out this movie. Check out this movie. If you have Netflix, check out this movie. You are for sure going to have fun. Without a doubt, you're going to have a blast. And that's it for my rant, guys. On to the rating. I give Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Foul a solid B+. I hope you guys can see that. It's a B+. Because it was super funny. I can't speak, guys. Sorry. It did deliver a key message to not always depend on tech. It can't help you go further in life. Sometimes it can, but sometimes it can't. You gotta honestly depend on yourself, and also not depend on it too heavily. Another thing is that, again, the police officer in this movie, he really didn't honestly seem like he did a good job at his job. It was only his personal assistant who really did a good job. But as for the rest of the stuff in this movie, it was super funny, as I said before. And Gromit is still a good dog, and Wallace, he is just being his goofy self. And I loved the villain, Feathers McGraw. It showed that he was really straight out for vengeance against Wallace and Gromit. But and also the rest of the movie itself is so good. If you are a Wallace and Gromit fan and you grew up with them when you were a kid, for sure check this out on Netflix if you have a Netflix account. Go see this movie. It is super funny, and it's nice to see stop motion animation evolving as well. That is hands down the best thing to see. They really did a good job making sure that this movie was going to be perfect. They really did. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for Wallace and Gromit and what adventure they have next. And that's it for my movie review, guys. Don't forget to like, comment down below on what you guys thought of Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Smells Foul. Subscribe and share with everyone you know. Press the little notification bell at the bottom of my video to get notified when my next movie review is going to be. I will see you guys soon. Take care and God bless. Peace.